I love the swirl detailing on Michael's shell. Michael's. Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and welcome to another comically long review. It's time to head back to New York City and see the teenagers with attitude settle their differences with the heroes in a half shell. That name never really made sense to me. Isn't it a whole shell? Anyway, let's answer some questions more important than that one by taking a look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 2. Gonna try to get through the covers quickly because there's still quite a few. This time the turtles are holding Trini's helmet. I have Leonardo again, which you just saw, which is still more than fine with me, still my favorite Ninja Turtle, and it's not like the teams are even, so there's not gonna be one of each, etc, etc. However, 1 out of 25 of the helmet variants features Leonardo holding the Green Ranger helmet. And the surprise 1 per store thank you variant features Leonardo holding the White Ranger helmet. I guess that's cool, but I'm assuming the White Ranger isn't going to be a part of this story, so Huberto Ramos, sorry if I'm butchering that, does this unlocked retailer variant with a main version colored by Edgar Delgado and a 1 out of 50 black and white version. Being honest, I don't like this art style. The Rangers' helmets are over-designed, and the Turtles' bandanas are treated like their eyebrows. Look at Rav's, it looks like 2 separate pieces. Also, it took me a solid few seconds to realize that this Ranger at the bottom was Billy and not a second Zach, since he's super dark blue. So, just in case you were wondering if this series is doing well thus far, issues 1 and 2 sold out at the distributor level. That means reprints, because if you want to spend money on this comic, they want to sell you one. But what if you bought it already? You still have money they want. So reprints usually get new covers as well. For this one, Shredder holds Trini's cracked helmet. It's really cool, though Shredder's fingers are a bit... what's the word I'm looking for? Doctor?
Wibbly wobbly.
That brings us to the main cover, and... meh. The art is good, especially on the turtles. I love the swirl detail on Mikey's shell. Just... the background is kind of confusing. I get the concept. It's split between Angel Grove and New York City. But the contrast is clear. There's a sharp angled line between the two. Angel Grove is apparently a forest, despite comic Angel Grove being one of the 10 largest cities in California. And in contrast, nothing identifies New York as New York besides large buildings and the Turtles side of the cover. We start off with a great page right from the word go, only seeing the Rangers and Turtles' weapons clashing as they bark back and forth about why they're fighting each other. Oh, and Donnie is a Power Rangers fan, even knowing Tommy had been evil. Donnie says he knows about the Rangers by watching Ranger Station. The big guy's funny. If you say so, Donnie. The Rangers quickly realize the Turtles aren't monsters, and Leo and Jason both immediately call a halt to the fight, Jason saying they need to figure out what's going on. Though I love Zach saying that that's never stopped them before. Raph's still ready to fight too, but Donnie talks him down. They hear a helicopter approaching, and Leo says it's their cue to leave, inviting the Rangers to follow. The chopper heralds the presence of April O'Neil, Channel 6 reporter. She does a story about the Foot Clan attacking the tech place. She reports that the Power Rangers were there and ends her story. Her cameraman, this may be a character in Turtles, I don't know, points out that she didn't mention her turtle buddies. She tries to say they weren't seen, so she can't report on what there's no evidence of, but he says she can't protect them forever, and the world is eventually going to find out about them. Ironically meta, considering how popular the Turtles are in real life. Karai has taken Tommy down to the Technodrome, a large, rolling Death Star type of technological fortress with a giant eye on the top that tunnels deep within the earth. Tommy is being directly introduced to the Shredder and offered a chance to join the Jonin Foot Elite. Admittance requires an offering, and Tommy offers the power cell that he stole. Shredder accepts it and admits him, saying his life now belongs to him. Tommy says he is honored. Back with the Rangers, they huddle up, apparently having spoken to Zordon off-panel. Zordon said this was okay, and that the Rangers can and should trust the Turtles like they do each other. I wonder if that's going to be touched back on, because it's not really made clear in this issue why Zordon knows, let alone trusts the Turtles so much. It's time for the Rangers to break one of their 3 rules. Yes, apparently the Turtles have asked the Rangers to reveal their identities to gain entrance to their lair. They do so, introducing themselves. Donnie is disappointed that they're just regular people, but Mike says the 2 of them seem above average. What you gonna say? However, Mikey doesn't look like he's going romantically gaga over Kim and Trini. He looks weirdly suspicious. It's a minor art note, but I'm gonna touch back on it later. Leo takes the Rangers down into the sewers, saying the sun is coming up. Meaning that April went out and filmed a stand-up for her story at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Morning news, I guess. They meant like actual sewers. As opposed to what, Zach? Metaphorical sewers? I don't get this line at all. Basically, the Rangers are surprised that the Turtles live in a sewer, but the Turtles love their place. April comes in, berating the Turtles for picking a fight with the Power Rangers out in the open. Jason points out how awkward it is when 2 people that you just met start fighting. But Zach is more concerned with the giant rat sitting in the corner.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist.
Master Splinter apologizes for the Turtles' presumptuous actions, but Jason says mistakes were made on both sides. Not really. Both teams acted appropriately based on what they knew and stopped fighting when things didn't add up. Splinter invites them to sit and share what they know. And now we get to find out why Tommy is being all super sneaky working with the Foot. No, he hasn't gone evil again, he has a good reason. We see the Foot training when one suddenly yanks another into a closet. Tommy has grabbed a friend of his named Tyler. He tells Tyler to be quiet and follow him. Tyler's dad contacted Tommy, telling him Tyler had gone missing and was involved in some kind of martial arts cult. Tyler says the Foot are not a cult, and apparently his dad sounds more like a stepdad. Tommy tells Tyler off all he had to do to risk to get there to save him. This isn't just some gang, the Foot are domestic terrorists. Tyler says he hasn't seen Tommy in years, but now he's just supposed to leave all of this with him? Tommy turns, and Tyler zaps him in the back. Tommy is Tyler's gift to Shredder to join the Foot Clan elite. At Channel 6, April has brought Kimberly to her desk. Basically, while April does her regular job, Kim will pretend to be her intern, surfing the news tip line for any reports indicating Foot activity. As April stands right next to Kim at her desk, Kim thanks her for helping them without even really knowing them. April apparently walks all the way out of the room, a good 5 feet or so away from the door, and then says over her shoulder that the Turtles have saved her a bunch of times, so she's returning the favor.
Yo! What? I don't think you can hear me.
Very cute scene in the Turtles' lair. Billy is working on something while Donnie tries to impress him. He shows off Metalhead, a robotic turtle that will become one of their antagonists. Billy is basically creating a morpher detector out of a Geiger counter. Donnie shows off a miniaturizing ray he's made and says they have a blimp and rocket-powered skateboards. And Billy may be impressed by that, but I more think that he caught on to what's happening, telling Donnie that if he ever came to Angel Grove, he could help improve the Megazord, which geeks Donnie into silence. Everybody but Kim, Donnie, and Billy head to a building that a tipster said they found a ninja star near.
It's the word ninja.
So it could be worth investigating. And it turns out this random building on a street corner is a foot training facility, Karai teaching new foot soldiers. The Rangers and Turtles bust in. Now Michelangelo's bandana is the one that looks like it's two pieces, while Leo's looks like it's full head, but really it just seems like it's big on the top. Trini asks if the Turtles just fight kids in their PJs, but Raph says no, it gets a lot weirder than that. Like stopping an invasion of rock soldiers from another dimension, or keeping the Rat King from enslaving the entire city with mind-controlled rats. You know, stuff like that. Trini asks if they deal with that a lot, and Raph realizes that she felt like the Rangers were unique in dealing with those sorts of things. Raph says no, they do too, except that people run and hide when they see them. Of course, I'd run and hide if Trini's dagger was talking. I'm kidding, of course, it's a part of her glove, but add one to the art list. Oh boy, here we go. Zach and Mikey fight while debating what they like on pizza. Zach basically likes some meat lovers with pineapple. Pineapple on a pizza? Gross, dude. Just gross. I've ranted about this in a previous review already. Long story short, let people like what they like. I'm not too upset about it because it's mainly played for a gag. Zach says he knows it's a hot take. It really isn't. And asks Mikey about his favorite pizza. Mikey says it depends on the time, temperature, and the weather, but his standard is jelly beans, onions, and butterscotch. Zach says he's gonna be honest. He had him at jelly beans. Okay, I lied. Gonna double back really quick because this is exactly what I meant by let people like what they like. Notice that Zach's reaction isn't, that doesn't go on pizza. It's more, huh, well, if you like it. This scene is a little pedantic, but ends with a funny gag. Basically, Jason and Leo talk shop while fighting Karai. Leo suggests Jugen Ryu for Jason, but he says it would be too chaotic. Leo says it works fine for him, just one Iatsu attack is all he needs. Trini uses Bowl Satsu, knocking her out with a bowl to the head.
You should have gone for the head.
The heroes interrogate Karai, who tells them Tommy is with Shredder in the Technodrome. They demand she take them there, but she refuses, and says even if she could, it's too late. Tommy wakes up in a steel cage with Shredder outside. A scientist, perhaps Baxter Stockman, says the power cell has been installed. Tommy tries to keep up the ruse, but Shredder knows everything about him. His allies in Dimension X are well versed on the Rangers, apparently. Tommy morphs, but why would Shredder have let Tommy keep the morpher? Tommy says Shredder should open the door, but Shredder doesn't feel like playing fair, grabbing the device the power cell was installed into and blasting Tommy with it. He thanks Tommy for the demonstration. We're almost to the end of issue 2, and you may have noticed a peculiar absence. The Rangers' villains. Up on the moon, Rita screams and throws things around. However, the art demonstrates her face as being mildly irritated. She's sensed a shift in the grid, the dragon coin changing hands. Whatever this thing is says power is changing and the universe is in flux. No, wait, Rita said that. It's just that there's an energy beam that looks exactly like the end of a voice bubble. Her minions basically babble at her, and she says they need to go address this themselves. She opens a portal, and everyone walks through. And they walk directly into Bebop and Rocksteady, famous henchmen of Shredder, a mutant pig and Rhino. Shredder is also there, and he was warned... by who? That someone like her might try to get in the way. She stares him straight down and demands the coin back. Shredder moves his cape and uses Tommy's morpher. That's right, folks. Shredder is now merged with the Green Ranger powers. Now, before I begin the review segment, there is something interesting about this issue that I want to address involving Green Shredder, let's call him. The print edition of this comic came out on time, Wednesday, January 8th. However, for some reason, the digital edition was delayed, I believe, until Friday, January 10th. Unfortunately, when the print edition hit shelves on the 8th, the marketing of everything revealed in the issue began, including Green Shredder. The problem with this being that those who only get the digital edition hadn't read the issue yet, so this was a pretty major spoiler. Indeed, even I was actually spoiled before reading the issue, but that's only because I didn't get to pick up my paper copy until Friday, and I'm kind of used to those things happening anyway, so I wasn't that upset. It is kind of sad, but I really just found it an interesting kind of flip-flop situation where those who are on the cutting edge, getting their comics digitally with the latest technology, found themselves spoiled by those who hold out for the more traditional paper copies. Okay, review time. As you might expect, while issue 1 exploded onto the scene with the action and these two teams clashing against each other, issue 2 begins providing the exposition. The teams start talking to each other, learning about each other, and we start piecing together this plot in more detail. That really makes this issue a bit slower than the first, but it is quality exposition. You may have noticed in the plot recap that I was nitpicking on the art a little bit more than I usually do. Don't get me wrong, the art was fantastic in this issue overall, as usual. It's just that the little errors made me feel like the art needed better editing, if that made sense. Two different cases where it was unclear who was talking because the voice balloon seemed to be pointing in two directions at once. You had Rita Repulsa looking mildly annoyed while very irritated and throwing things around the room. The other things that I mentioned, it was just a little weird. Exposition sets up for satisfying action later, and wow, that Green Shredder reveal at the end. However, the little art errors feel just a touch lazy, and I'm gonna deduct for that. Issue number 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles gets a 3.5 out of 5. Next time, the first of 2 issues of Go-Go Power Rangers in the month of January. Will Tommy yield to the temptation of Lord Zed and take the newly darkened Saba? Find out in my review of Go-Go Power Rangers issue number 27. That's going to do it for another comically long review. Heroes, thank you so much as always for watching. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, comment below with what you thought of this issue as well as my review of it, subscribe and get your notifications set up, and consider supporting my channel on Patreon or Ko-fi. Until next time, heroes, may the power protect you. Anyway, let's answer questions more important than that one by taking a look at Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issue. Everybody but Kim, Donnie, and Billy head to a building that a tipster said they found a ninja star. Huh. You like it. Maybe I'll try it. But you like it, so that's cool. Nah. Up on the moon, Rita screams and throws things around. She's sensed a shift in the grid. The dragon, you know what, yeah. And thus were spoiled by the people who had the paper copy. You may have noticed that in this review and